So we are obviously group 5, and we are going to learn about the Boston Tea Party today.
Okay, our grade level is 4th grade. Our subject and content area is history, mathematics, and reading. Our unit of study is the Boston Tea Party, units of measurement, and comprehension. Okay, so we have history standards, explain how political, religious, and economic ideas and interests brought about the revolution, and we specifically went with taxes on tea. And then the 4.24 explain the different forms of protest, including the Boston Tea Party. Okay, for math standards, solve problems involving measurement and conversion, use the 4 operations with whole numbers, and use the 4 operations with whole numbers to solve problems, which is solving multi-step word problems. And then reading standards, explain events, procedures, ideas, and concepts in a historical, scientific, or technical text, including what happened and why, based on specific information in the text.
Then our learning objectives was students will draw what they believe the Boston Tea Party is before and after going over the lesson. Students will demonstrate understanding by listing all of the main events during the Boston Tea Party in the form of a comic strip. Students will plan and construct an invitation to their own Boston Tea Party, and students will assess their understanding of the Boston Tea Party by answering a series of questions after reading an excerpt about the Boston Tea Party. Then our essential questions was what factors led to the Boston Tea Party, what role did taxation play in the early colonies, how do you use weight and measurement in your daily life, and how do you use conversions in your life. And then our I can statements is I can explain the main events of the Boston Tea Party, I can convert the amount of tea dumped into multiple units of measurement, I can work through multi-step math problems, and I can create my own invitation and plan my own party.
Okay, so our academic language that we chose to use is equivalent, conversion, unit of measurement, Sons of Liberty, legal act, and boycott. Our assessment for formative is drawing, the comic strip, conversion, teacup, a song, an invitation, and role play. Our summative assessments are a reading and assessment quiz and a math worksheet. So the materials needed would be paper just for your beginning. And we did have, like, when we were going to be in the other room, we were going to have a drawing tool that everybody could use, but now we're just going to use paper to let everybody use. And then, you know, coloring tools and scissors for the teacup that you'll see later, and computer, iPads, or presentation software. And so first you would do the hook, and what we're going to be doing is drawing what you think that the tea party is before you learn about it. And it's pretty cute. Kimberly had her kids do it just to see what they thought that the tea party was. And then instructions, you explain what would be done during the lesson and give materials. Then you present a lesson that you prepared about the Boston Tea Party, questions and activities, your closure, and assessment.
So this is our motivator hook. The students will draw what they think the Boston Tea Party is, and this can be performed on a smartboard, computer, iPad, or on a white piece of paper. So
yes, there's paper.
Okay, so you guys have the pieces of paper. Pretend you are in 4th grade right now, and you guys know nothing about the Boston Tea Party. We'll give you 30 seconds to draw what you think the Boston Tea Party is.
Okay, go.
And so, like, while they're doing that, I'll explain to you guys. This right here, I was able to do this on my phone. And so what we have done is link this to iTunes. So if you click on this, it brings you right to
What's the app called?
It's called Draw Free. And right here, if you click on this one that I've done, because I have a Microsoft phone, it goes to the Microsoft Store, so you can put it on computers as well.
Oh.
So it's not just limited to Apple.
Okay, good, because we don't want to do that because we know not all the schools have Apple products.
Okay, stop what you're doing and show everyone what you think the Boston Tea Party is.
Ours is a tea party, that little girl.
There we go. So usually that's what Kimberly's daughters had drawn when we have them do it on paper. So that is typically what a 4th grader would put.
And then here we have the instructional procedures. So they would start off with that hook where they draw what they think is for the actual lesson, and then you would follow on to the lesson that you would prepare ours, we just mentioned video on history.com and a book, and then it would go on to the questions and activities, so leaving some time so that way they can ask questions if they didn't understand a portion of it, and then the time for the different activities, which we figured would be probably about an hour for all of them. And then from there, they would go to the closure activity, which is the exit ticket. So they would draw what they think the Boston Tea Party is now that they have learned about it. So they could do a comparison of before and after.
Maybe in this case, they would flip the paper over and do a new drawing.
That, or get a entirely new sheet, and then so that way they could put it on the wall and be like, here's before, here's after, and compare it.
Yeah.
And have it as something so that way if like parents or the school staff or something is visiting, then they can see what you've done in the class.
So this would be a hallway project.
And it is also possible, because we'd like to see on the drawing things, you can also like draw it on there and print. Like if you wanted to go like all technology.
Wow.
And if you cannot print it, you can always screenshot it and then paste it into something else.
Okay. On a Padlet wall.
And so here we have a link to history.com where it's got a if you
The word.
if you click up here,
Right there.
there we go.
I think it's down at the bottom now, isn't it? Did you have it open already?
We did not have it open already.
Okay.
But anyway, it takes you to a link,
Right.
and
Gotcha.
it is an app actually that you can get on your phone. So you know that.
And you would just play
Yeah.
the video.
And so it's
Yeah, it's
short
trying,
video
yes.
about it, and it's got some text about it as well below that. So if they can't really watch that, and then here we have a link to in Google Books an example of. Actually, that was. Crap.
Okay, so that is so embarrassing. Okay.
That's okay. It happens.
I could not find a book for the Boston Tea Party, so what I did was I found an actual book that that you could use in class, and I recorded myself doing it on YouTube. So that just because there is literally nothing for the Boston Tea Party out there, so just for you to have and you're reading it, I wouldn't be embarrassed if they were 5-year-olds.
Okay, let me say this then, because I think the first was it the first group that used StoryKit?
Yeah.
That would be a great place for Morgan to have put her words in StoryKit and did her recording there even.
I
So.
actually tried that, and just the way with the pictures because it was a sample book, and I took screenshots, and it was just hard to get it all in there. So
Right.
I just went
The easiest route.
YouTube
I understand.
capture.
Yeah, I understand. Love YouTube capture.
Okay, and then here's the different activities and stuff. And so when you get to this section of the lesson, you need to leave some time at the beginning of it so that way if the students need to ask a question about it, they can, and so that way they'll understand more of what would actually be put into the different activities. So here we have an example of a flip chart where it's the different causes, effects, and repercussions dealing with Boston Tea Party. This little thing right here, which is a conversion teacup, and so you'll have the teacup itself as well as the tea bag, and it'll have the different units of measurement and what they convert to, and they could even use that to convert the measurements of tea that was dumped into the harbor during Boston Tea Party into smaller units or larger units, depending on which one you want to do. And then right here, link to Pinterest that has linked to Teachers Pay Teachers, where it's the little invitation that can be made dealing with the Boston Tea Party.
And this would do well to include parents. So we would have our students, write their little invitation, when, where, why, what, anything that includes that. And then the parents, a week later, maybe on a Friday, could come in and have a tea party with us.
That's a good idea.
And then with it, you can also have students take different roles from the time period, like the colonists, the government officials, and such, and have their own little reenactment.
So it would be a costume party.
Yes.
So they would dress up as the Indians, they would dress up as sailors, anything like that.
And I can tell you kids love to dress up.
And then here is another little activity that we found online. It's a comic, so you can make your little comics on this. You just did a simple little 3-panel comic showing the events of it, and this can actually be printed off as well.
So what tool did you use to make the comic strip?
Readwrite.think.org.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yes,
Yes, Read, Write, Think is a great source of material for more than just the comic strips.
So right here, you could type in the name of the cartoon, which ours was Boston Tea Party, add a subtitle, and then who is the author or authors. So this could be a group project if you don't have enough.
Yes.
And then after you fill all that in, it goes on and it does what we showed you right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made these. And so this says, I hate the tea taxes. Me too. Let's go dump them in the ocean. And those are the crates in the ocean with their little hee 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 and shh, because it's at nighttime.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the, yay, now Britain will lower the taxes. Yay!
Yeah,
So-
kids would love that.
And this is printable, so.
So they could color it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing is the closure activity, and so this is where after the lesson and everything's been done, they would go and get like another sheet of paper and draw on what they now know tea party to be. And so then as they're leaving for the day or leaving to go outside to play for recess, you could take those up, and they wouldn't necessarily be able to leave at the moment until they had turned it in, but when all those who turned it in had left, then you could like write down who hadn't done it, so that way you would have record of who still needed to do it, or who would have to like maybe sit down a few minutes at recess, just in case. And so there's a way to keep records for it.
Okay, quickly, grab your pieces of paper, turn them over, and draw what the Boston Tea Party actually is. 30 seconds.
I have no blue, no, never mind. We're in the back.
You know, the fit reason.
Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show what the Boston Tea Party is. Yes, she has a really good example. Show that, there you go. That is a very good example.
And then go over there to.
I think you were doing this beforehand.
McKen, can you show me yours again? McKen.
You were doing this beforehand.
There you go. Okay, so the assessments we have right here would include the conversions. So after they've done all the conversions with the T, it's a math worksheet that has the multiple steps, like our standard cover.
Which they can also use their teacup on.
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you click it, it will take you to the interesting.
Yes. This was actually made by Kimberly. She actually created this. Yeah. And then there's this, which we found right here. And this is a PDF version. There's also online versions too. But that is our PDF version. So basically, they would read it and then they would answer questions over on the second part.
Okay.
And the application to meet the students' individual needs and learning styles. The first one would be for like hyperactive, what is it? It's attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Those kinds of kids, if they have problems actually looking at a paper and seeing multiple problems and they start freaking out, what you can do is grab a regular piece of white paper and cut out a rectangle. That way they can focus on just one problem at a time. And then this one is a dump it off music video. So this would help.
I just can't believe
Oh,
what Britain did to me.
That is hilarious.
Made an act of tea. Made an act of tea.
oh, the kids
That
would
is
love
so
that.
cute. And those boys would be like, that's so not cool, but they would love that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
773.
And so it just talks about the different events of it.
That's
The more videos you can use like this, the more the kids love it. Granny getting into it there.
We just gotta dump it off, dump it off.
Yeah.
In the middle of
Okay, so that is our dump it off video, and this would get kids moving. It would get the hyperactive kids, you know, dancing to it, remembering what they're learning, as well as students with dyslexia. If students with dyslexia don't read very well because they switch all the letters and everything, this would be a good way for them to hear it and process it.
Because it's really easy to get a song stuck in your head
Yeah,
and
and
remember
then
what happened.
you're gonna be like, why did I play this video?
30% more likely to go into long-term memory. If you have a chant, a song, anything like that, it'll put 30% more likely to go to long-term memory, and they will sing the song forever.
And this is the end of our presentation. Thanks for watching.
All right, round of applause.